Started, huh? Hello, everyone. Welcome again with this Rukmini and the Turning of Time book. As of now, we have seen like four chapters. We have went through and discussed like four chapters, and this is the continuation to those four chapters. So we'll be looking into further chapters. We'll see how much we can cover in this session, and this will be a session two on Rukmini and the Turning of Time. So basically, from last chapters, what we have learned is the struggles that have been faced by Malini and how she was taken into custody or care of Rukmini Mata in women's quarters in Dwaraka, and how she has been separated from her family, like her mother and her father, and also her brother. So the community chief had made some arrangements to get her brother separated from his family because her brother was not her biological brother, but he was adopted as a kid by Malini's family, and Malini was a biological child to their parents. Mm, so she was going through all those struggles, and she was being taken care under Mata's presence in women's quarters, and life has been she's continuing her life there. And in this chapter, let me share my screen here. So in this chapter, what we will do is we'll go through further four more chapters in the part one itself, which is life in ancient Dwaraka. So after a secret marriage, she was pregnant with Uddhav's son. They have exchanged their vows in a virtual presence of Sri Krishna and Mata, and because of their omnipresence, Sri Krishna and Mata would obviously know about their vows in front of them. And even though they were not physically present, their virtual vows were taken granted by this celestial beings called Sri Krishna and Rukmini Mata. So now we will shift on to this chapter, adjusting to a new life. So when a lady or when a person has underwent a lot of struggles, and she has been taken into a calming and serene presence, she is kind of adjusting to new life because the life that she has seen until now was like in between among lot of people, and also to this related to this materialistic world. But when she was coming into this Mata's presence, it was like a new kind of lifestyle that she has to adapt and adjust to and make her mind prepare for it. And it's not like mind, her heart is being trained here. All the souls that are taken into Mata's custody or care are like are for training for the future purpose, and she is also making the stage ready for Kali Yuga by training all these people under her great care. So let us dive deep into adjusting to a new life. So, author like Malini, she speaks about the Varna system again in this new chapter. And guys, we mostly in Indian tradition, we and even in the present Indian tradition, especially among the southern India, we have this caste system deep rooted in our society. It is not from this Kali Yuga itself. It has been deep rooted from Treta Yuga itself. We have people have established caste by their profession, and we can see that more in this Dwapar Yuga, because dancers were rooted as say dances were divided as a Vaishya system, Vaishya's caste, and Rajus, I mean Kshatriyas were divided into Kshatriyas caste who were ruling the people were divided into Kshatriyas caste, and then Brahmins, it was a different caste. So Kshatriyas and Brahmins were given the higher weightage even in Dwapar Yuga, and later on, and there are different caste systems that are well established in the society itself, and people who are talking to the other people, they were classified by the caste itself in even in Dwaraka. So Mata and Sri Krishna found this as useless because, uh, of course, they have divided their caste by profession, but that doesn't define their character, right? But people, how they started is like they were defining people or persons, their character by the caste. That is what Sri Krishna and Mata tried working on, and enlightening and awakening their souls is what they have worked on. And even in the quarters, when it comes to the women's quarters, they have been divided into separate castes, like Kshatriyas grouping into one caste, and remaining set of people were divided into another caste. Such was the system in the society. But Mata made it clear to everyone that everyone is equal in this quarters, and it doesn't look like or it shouldn't look like the caste system or how the grouping is done outside. But here everyone has to live in harmony, and everyone has to take care of each other and learn from each other, is what the well established set of rules that was set by Rukmini Mata in the women's quarters or the men's quarters that she established. And later, Malini was taken into care by Amba. Amba is a new character where she was already living in women's quarters because of the problems that she was facing in her own life. And she has to share her room with Malini as soon as she was brought in into women's quarters. So Amba has already a child called Kashini, which where she is biological to Amba. So she Malini, when she entered into that woman's quarters, she was pregnant, and she didn't yet give birth to her baby. So she was sharing with the room with her, and then even though Amba tried to speak with the Malini, she was in great of turmoil, and she was in great depression that she couldn't share anything about her. Anjali was the one. Anjali, you all know who Anjali is. Anjali is an immediate aide to Rukmini Mata, and she brought in Malini and put her in Amba's room. So a few days passed on, and they have been trying to set a harmony among both of them. But yet it took like few days for Malini to adjust to Rukmini Mata's serene atmosphere, and she was already like in great depression. So after a few days, they exchanged a few greetings with both of them, and they got on to each other. And eventually, Kashini, who is Amba's daughter, uh, developed a kind of interest, or she was in great fond of um Malini's baby in her womb. So she started speaking to that baby in womb, and she kind of feels that he is responding back to her, and this made Malini to come into his the present moment and enjoy at least a few things that is going on around her. And after that, the days passed on, and she was still like feeling lot of depression. But she tried communicating with Uddhav. I know Uddhav has lost his life, but she tried communicating with him by her heart. Like she could feel his presence by her side, and she was like communicating when she was alone. She was like sitting and communicating with his soul virtually, even though she is not able to see Uddhav around, but she could obviously feel his presence. So that was kind of things that were going on in her life, in that new atmosphere. And one day, she came across Anjali. She returned to that woman's quarters, and then she inquired about the well-being of Malini. And I would like to say, from now, I would call Malini as Sujata, because everyone who entered into that women's quarters, they were given a new name to make them forget about their past, as well as when they go outside, these things or rumors, or the struggles that they were facing inside their women's quarters, or the information that they have exchanged inside the women's quarters, should not go outside and should not spread outside, right? And they might speak those issues or those things outside, and the words might spread across, which will put them in great danger, right? So that's why the names of the people that who come into this women's quarters has to be changed, and Malini was given a name called Sujata. From now, I'll be referring Malini as Sujata, as her name is changed to Sujata. So Sujata, she came across Anjali, and then Anjali, Sujata, everyone, they sat with each other, and then they were like, Anjali was trying to educate Sujata to let her anger go. So right now, what is happening? What is happening is, Sujata had a lot of struggles in her life. One is her mother's departure. It is a first great depression that she underwent, and the next one is she was under assumption that her father has given a word about her marriage, and she broke that oath, right? So, and she lost Uddhav. So, all these things she has to work on, and she has to overcome those struggles by heart. It's not by mind that she has to execute those responsibilities, it's by heart that she has to undergo that transformation. If it's by heart, then there's no looking back, there's no depression that you will undergo. If there's no nothing, no negativity in your heart, then you cannot have a trifling fights with different trifling fights with other souls, right? So that is what Rukmini Mata's most importance is, carries put a weightage on. She made everyone to work on their struggles, or to overcome their fears, everything, by taking them into her custody, and she is slowly giving a training to these people. So the first thing is, Anjali did reveal some information about Darshana is Sujata's mother. So did reveal some information about Darshana's past, that she did let Sujata know that Darshana was being abused by Mahendra, and that is why she had to go away and leave her family, not able to bear that humiliation. So that is the information that she revealed about her mother. And after knowing this information, Sujata's anger towards her mother reduced a bit. And at least what kind of abuse, she didn't know what kind of abuse it is, but yet she made sure that her anger on Darshana, or her mother, who is called as her mother, has reduced a bit, and her judgment towards her mother for past 13 years. It's been 13 years that her mother left her, and from that time onwards, she developed lots and lots of anger, and that has accumulated lots of resentment towards her mother, right? So over these past 13 years, because of knowing this information, she still didn't overcome that resentment, but yet she she took that information, and she was able to at least know the fact that the reason behind her mother's separation was much more beyond beyond regarding beyond of her thinking, that it's not because of her lover or something that she was separated, but it's because of the humiliation that she underwent, and unable to bear that humiliation, she has been separated. And until now, she was thinking that she broke the tradition, she broke the custom, she broke that family life. But the real fact is that unable to bear the humiliation. And I would like to highlight a point here, friends. So there are these systems called dharma, which are set of rules that has been established to make the people follow on the right path, right? But if the people are suffering to tied to that rules, if the rules are right, then of course people would follow them by heart. But in the name of dharma, but the rules, if there are the set of wrong rules that are set on the lines of dharma, and the people are suffering on that rules, on the set rules, it is best for them to choose their own path which is tied to dharma, is what I have realized. Because uh, she was abused by the community chief in the presence of her own husband. And now, what does she have to decide? Should she still stay in that path and then realize? Should she undergo the humiliation because on the lines of dharma? No, right? That is not the dharma. That is adharma that is happening in her own life, and she retaliated, and then she that made her separation. Of course, that left Malini or Sujata or her family without mother, but yet she couldn't bear that humiliation. So that is one thing that we have to note, and we have to think, as a woman or a man or any human beings, are we following the right rules under dharma, or are we pretending to follow dharma on different rules? And, it is up to the listeners who can think on that. So is it the right rules, or is it a are we pretending to follow dharma, is what I would leave um, the listeners to think. So her judgment towards her mother changed after this information, after knowing this information. And eventually the days passed on, and she was communicating with the Uddhav also did mention in past that to let go of anger on her mother, because that might be he somehow know that her mother was in she is not separated because of some materialistic love, but it's because of the humiliation. So now she was also communicating with Uddhav, saying that, okay, my judgment has changed regarding my mother, Uddhav, and this is what you have always wanted me to think about, right? So as the days went on, there was a pressure that built on Sri Krishna to close this women's quarters or men's quarters or whatever. And this is kind of, I would say, this is kind of rehabilitation centers that was established by Rukmini Mata, because these rehabilitation and people who have come here, they were not like they were not like addictors, but yet they were, of course, coming into this women's quarters with a lot of great confusion and depression. But they are undergoing a great extensive training here by heart regarding their deficiencies. um, I mean, of course, even if we have a lack of emotion, then working on it, it's also called a deficiency, and working on it will obviously make us grow more, and also have more energy and power within ourselves, right? So there's lot of pressure that was built on Sri Krishna to make this women's quarter shut down by which is run by Rukmini Mata. and to rein Mata and shut down the squatters due to the mixing of Varna is what they brought out. So the ultimate goal is, so they were feeling shame if their families were taken there. They would see that as a shame on their family, because if there's something bad, of if there is something some fight that went on in their family, or if there are some issues in the family, that's when uh, they were being taken into their custody, right? So they would look that as a shame on their family, and that is the behind scenes or the main reason. But what they have brought up on the stage is that Rukmini Mata is mixing the varnas. So now we can see a lot of things due to blindfolding the root fact, and bringing up the another issue to cover this fact is what people have been doing, even in the present society, as it has been there in the past as well, because human brains never change, right? So why is she mixing varna? So why is she mixing kshatriyas, brahmins, vaishyas, shudras, everyone? And they are all treated equally there. So why do they do that? Why does she do that? So close those quarters is what the pressure was brought on Sri Krishna. But Sri Krishna did state clearly that Rukmini will not close these quarters, and I am supporting her in whatever she does. And it is for well-being of our society that you have to accept it. Until Sri Krishna's support on those women's quarters, no one could touch those women's quarters, or at least enter those premises as well. Such was the power of Sri Krishna on Rukmini Mata and her establishment. And inside the women's quarters, they were inquiring about Sujata's caste as well, because she was staying with Amba, and Amba was from a prominent Kshatriya's family as well. And she was like she just came. Amba didn't reveal her caste, but this made she some other lady, she came and asked about her caste, and then she was like, okay, I am staying with Kshatriya. And then that developed a lot of respectful conversation towards her, which Amba felt like, okay, this is not what I'm looking. We are friends, we are friends, Sujata. We are not supposed to know our caste here. We are not supposed to talk with our caste here. We are human beings. We are supposed to live in harmony. That is what Rukmini Mata said, and we are equal, is what Amba made clear with Sujata. So days passed on, and eventually there's a time that the time has come for Sujata to undergo in labor. So the baby is coming out. It's an auspicious moment, but yet, of course, she missed the feeling of presence of Uddhav, because she was in labor for 3 days, and due to that pain and a lot of hormonal imbalance as well, she has lost the presence of Uddhav, because she was in depression there. And she was in a conscious and semi-conscious state. And in those 3 days, finally, on the third day, Ishan was born. And after that, Kashini was the one who developed lot of interest in that baby. And she couldn't even actually Sujata couldn't actually take care of her son's well-being, and Amba was the one who took care of Ishan's um, uh, Ishan's birth, and she was taking care of that newborn baby. She would bring Ishan to Sujata for just feeding, and of course, she was in great depression, right? Uh, Thinking that he was born fatherless, and his father was not there to enjoy his presence, and he lost. Her husband She lost her husband, and she lost her virtual presence too. She lost the presence of Uddhav's soul as well, because there was a lot of depression in her. So imagine if we are in a clear state of mind, we would always have lot of positive energy and positive feelings. If suppose if we are related to, for me, I am like lot of in conversation with Sai Baba virtually. Like it feels like I can talk to him, I can communicate with him. But when there's lot of unclear state of mind, I would really feel like I couldn't actually communicate with him, right? So it is very important for every one of us to maintain clear state of mind in our present life, which wherein always the meditation helps. If there's like decrease in energy levels, like positive energy levels, we will definitely lose that conscious state. So that's what this incident reveals about. So we have to maintain that clear state of mind in order to have the presence of the loving ones around us. It is not by the physical body that they are present, but they can also have, we can also feel the virtual presence with our clear state of mind. And Anjali, until now, Anjali was in charge of this women's quarters, and this has been transferred to another lady called Sumati, because Anjali is an immediate aid to Rukmini Mata, and she needs assistance of Anjali, like even outside this women's quarters. So she has been transferred to complete, like personal secretary of Rukmini Mata, but women's quarters were being taken over by Sumati. It's not like transferring the power, but the people who are really ready to serve other people and listen to other people and who can take an extensive care of others were given this position and opportunity. It's not by role, it's not by caste, it's not by creed that the people are given the positions here, it's by heart. Rukmini Mata would actually look at their hearts and see them if they are ready, and by serving others, by putting them in that position, she is actually making them ready for their future lives. Because when you serve other people by heart, then you will learn lot of things. So one is patience, one is listening capability, and one is that clear state of mind, and willingness and readiness to listen to others is the best quality to by heart, is the best quality that one can have. So such were the people put in that position as an in charge for those quarters, or as an immediate aides of Rukmini Mata. They cannot have anger, they cannot have that ego developed in them because of their positions, right? So, Sumati was one such person, and she was given that opportunity as an in charge to those women's quarters. And Anjali did mention Sujata to let go of Uddhav, because he has his own path, and you have your own path, Malini or Sujata, is what she mentioned. You have to let go of your Uddhav, and you have to keep your mind open. You can't subject to the struggles that you have faced in the past. You were in this women's quarters to learn. You have been listening to lot of stories, lot of tragedies around you in this women's quarters. What have you been learning by being in those women's quarters? So when you were listening to a person's tragedy that they have underwent, what were you actually learning? You're just not listening, you were learning. You should learn from them. You should learn from those tragedies, how to behave, how not to behave, and what have they done to overcome their struggles is what you have to learn. So you have to move on from here. You can't subject or succumb to the struggles from your past. So you have to let go of Uddhav and relieve him from your presence, is what she was highlighting. And by then, after this, she started understanding Mata more and more. Until now, she listened to the stories that were narrated to her by her mother, at her during her childhood, and here and there, like her regarding Mata's Mata's presence and Mata's work that she was doing in and around Dwaraka. But the actual understanding of Mata has started, Rukmini Mata has started by, um, actual understanding happened on Rukmini Mata during her stay in women's quarters. So when she was looking at Sumati, she was observing her calming presence, and she was attentive to everyone. And she was learning by looking at Sumati how to be more attentive, more patient, develop more listening capability, and learn and be willing to serve. So such was the learning from Sumati by Sujata. So each and every person in those women's quarters have different personality, where Sujata have been listening to and looking at and learning from that life. So that is why, and we can now understand why Sujata was taken into Mata's care. And it's time for Amba to actually return to her home, unlike Sujata, because Sujata has no home now. Because when if she leaves this women's quarters, Mahendra is out there ready to smash her and stab her to death. So she can't leave right now. But Amba really has a home to go, and of course, Amba's story was like her husband was a prominent leader and an immediate aide to Senapati in. Dwaraka. Senapati is nothing but an in charge of the army in the traditional India. For now, we could say like a home minister who is an in charge of army, right? So I mean, who is in charge of security. So he's like he's an immediate aide to the home minister. Um, so he has a lot of ego, and he has put his family under a lot of pressure because of the external things, and there's a lot of struggles that Amba went through. But I think Mata did make clear that he used to drink, come home, drink, and then beat his wife. And Mata did make clear that if you quit alcohol for at least 6 months, then I will send your wife and kid to your home. They have like the two sons and one daughter. One is Kashini, and two are the elder sons. They were at home itself, and then Amba was like, she her husband was on track, like at least he was on track, like for 6 months he quit alcohol, and then now was the time for Amba to leave women's quarters. And by now almost Sujata was taking Ishan into her custody, and she was feeling her his love. She was sharing her love towards her kid, and Ishan was growing up good, and she can take care of Ishan individually. And this is what is happening right now, and Amba has to leave, and of course this shocked Sujata as well. But Sujata can realize that she has a home to go, Amba has a home to go. And finally, there was one clear statement that was made by Mata to Amba, saying that no matter what, we the women in the society have to have our right to our dignified life. I would read that quote. No matter what society dictates, we women must claim our right to our dignified life. Every women, or at least I mean every man, everyone, women in special or in particular, they have their right to claim their dignified life. It is not because uh, if a husband is like alcoholic, he can just drink the alcohol every day and then beat or vent out his anger on on his lady. It's not like that, right? He has to maintain his own struggles. He has to overcome his own struggles in a easiest possible ways, which are tied to dharma, right? If he is alcoholic, he has to overcome that addiction by set of rules. It's not it's not like by venting out his anger on a woman. She is not a subject to vent out his anger, right? And this woman can sit silent, subjecting to that anger, right? It's not called dharma. We have to claim our dignity to regain our strength, and we are individuals. Like we can have our own, we can retain our own individualism, or we can retain our own uh, capability. We can stand on our legs. And again, when I say this, I have to be very careful. When I say we have to stand on our legs, it's not like earning as the primary factor. It's like standing on our own uh, strength, standing, saying no where we have to say no, saying yes where we have to say yes. Of course, we are I mean, women are like very peaceful and very patient by nature, but of course we have to maintain that dignity where we shouldn't be a subject or victim to the other people. It's not called patience, it's not called dharma. It's like we have to say no, we are not the victims to that particular situation, is what Mata made clear. So saying no where you have to say no is what Mata did make very clear to Amba. We have to maintain our own dignity, and we have a right to claim our own dignified life, is what Mata made clear. With that, I would end this story, first this chapter, which is adjusting to a new life. And the next thing, next thing is about, next chapter is about Rukmini Mata's childhood. This is an important and amazing chapter, guys, because here Rukmini Mata would narrate about the childhood phase of hers, and then how Rukmini Mata came in contact with uh, Sri Krishna, is what she was highlighting. So after Amba left, Sujata created a bubble around her, and then she was staying in that bubble because she wouldn't actually uh, have a conversation with other ladies as well, because she created a bubble around her, that like in her bubble only Amba, Kashini, herself, and then Ishan would stay, and she would not let anyone, she would not let her heart open to anyone outside of her room. And once Amba left, she was feeling that loneliness, and uh, um, and once she started feeling that loneliness, how long can she stay in that bubble, right? She, at least she had to come out of that bubble at any point of time. Now the starting point for that is like she started taking a walk outside of this women's quarter, I mean outside of her room, and that women's quarters were well scripted and well built. uh, I mean, the architecture of women's quarters were very well built, because Rukmini Mata did make sure that she gave an utmost importance to the nature as well. And we can really feel the presence of Sita Mata here, because her most importance or weightage is on nature. She did make sure that every open space in those women's quarters had plants planted. And there are a lot of flowering plants, fruits plants, vegetables plants, where they did allow people inside this women's quarters to work with nature more, because the healing would be very fast. So guys, this is an important message that is conveyed by Rukmini Mata and Sita Mata itself. If we, the women, or at least the men, I mean even the men or women, especially women, because there are a lot of hormones inside the women, and there are most life events that we would undergo, like pregnancy, delivery, bearing a child is an at most beautiful thing, a life event, right? um, So with all these hormones in our body that are generating, we have like highs and lows. When we are very near to the nature, there'll be lot of healing capability for the nature, and to balance these hormones in our body. So that is why Mata encourages all the women especially to work with nature, to and she encourages to women to go to the garden and plant some foods, work with the soil, clean up the soil, and plant some plants, and grow some fresh fruits and vegetables, and also the flower plants, is what she would encourage. And that's what Sujata have undergone too. And her limp was like healing a lot in a faster way. So that is one thing that that was given in in this chapter itself. So it says that the more you work with soil, the quicker will be your recovery from physical and mental disturbances. So if if you are like in an unclear state of mind, then go work with the soil. It will obviously balance your hormones a lot, and then the healing will be very much faster, and have a uh, you'll have a balance between your hormones. That is the thing. And now Sujata was under the care of someone, but now it was time for her to give that care to someone else. Her room is vacant, and Sumati bought another lady called Sukanya. She from Dwaraka itself. So she asked Sujata to if she can share her room with the Sukanya. And how could Sujata decline that? Because she was a guest. She feels that she was a guest here, and she is ready to serve, because she have been receiving that love to her until now, and it's time for her to give that love and care to other people. That's how people learn. It's not only the receiving mode that we need to be at all phases. It's about the giving also. We have to learn whatever the love or learning that we have received. We have to start giving out. That is the real step for learning. So Sukanya joined Sujata, and Sukanya, along with her son called Ashtavakra, they joined them. And there's a little bit story around this lady. It is nothing but first wife. She is a second wife to her husband, and her husband lost. He she lost her husband, and he was like way older. But yet, she took in. She married. It was an arranged marriage, because the first wife of her husband has three daughters, and then her husband really wanted a son. That is why she married another lady. And then obviously she gave a birth to her son, a son, which her husband liked him a lot. And of course they were a happy family, of course. And that guy who married him, her was like, he was in greed of sons, a male child. But yet he got what he wanted. They were a happy family, and suddenly, of course, due to the age difference as well, he was subjected to some illness, and then he lost his life, and it was a natural death too. And now what happened was, for his first wife, when he herself willingly set into the fire, or the pyre. So there's this custom called Sati Sahagamanam in ancient India, but not it's not in present India, but it was in ancient India. Like when the husbands die, the living wife would willingly go along with her with her husband, to make sure that, thinking that, assuming that this would make them go to the higher celestial realms, is assuming it's all under their assumption, but it's not the real fact. And later on, these were being stopped by greater reformers in later India. But it was even there at this Dwapar Yuga time as well. So the family of this husband, they actually wanted the second wife also to go onto the pyre of her husband. But the second wife, which is Sukanya, she was not willing to do that. And this is actually a greatest thing. Like I've been discussing with you guys, right? We the women has a right to claim our own dignified life. Of course, she has love towards her husband, and it's a natural death, and she still have a responsibility of her younger son, right? And she is not willing to go on to the pyre like her husband, like her first wife. Her first wife, she was like her daughters were married, and it was her choice to go on to the pyre. Of course, the second wife rejected that idea, and she did suggest her the first wife to go on to and live with her daughters, which she didn't agree. And then all the family were claiming that, okay, go, the first wife has greater love, you don't have love. And then the Sukanya was telling them, no, I have a responsibility of my kid. I can't go away from him. I have to bring him up. And that's what the promise that was made by my husband, that I have to bring this family, this son, by giving more love. Who will give him love when I leave, if I live my life? And they were like forcefully throwing her into the pyre, which she escaped, and she was taken into under Mata's custody. And after that, she has shared this story with Sujata, and then later on they were like best friends. And Mata did make them clear that no child should be separated from their mother. uh, that is the statement that made him. And then their family reached out to Sri Krishna, asking for the rightful ownership of their which is the son, Ashtavakra. But Sri Krishna didn't pass the statement. This we can see in our present constitution itself. No mother can be separated from their sorry, no child can be separated from their mother. When a child grew older, he himself would decide where to stay, is a statement that was passed by Sri Krishna. We can relate that statement to our present constitution law itself, right? So I mean, yeah, those are the well established rules even from the higher ages. um, so yeah, and after that, after a while, she was like staying in that Mata's presence, and then in the women's quarters itself. And she was able to overcome from the struggle that she was facing. And it was but imagine here, Sujata is still learning, but Sukanya has just come, and due to the presence and atmosphere that is in and around her, she was able to overcome that struggle, that which she or depression that she was undergoing. She was under the assumption that she did a wrong thing by denying that Sati Sahagamanam act. But after she came into this Mata's presence, she was able to discriminate between the right thing and the wrong thing. And she actually was in awe. I mean, she actually was in respect towards her decision to claim her own dignified life. So that is a real transformation by heart. It's not by responsibility. It's not by the thing because we have to do it. We should do it. It's by heart that we have to make a real justice to our decision. So that is a transformation that she underwent, and her brother is ready to take her under under his care in Dwaraka itself. And of course they were sent to their brother and not to their husband's family, and they were living happily there. And then while leaving, Sujata and Sukanya did exchange of warm greetings, and Sujata Sujata have given an extensive care that she has received from past with Amba, Anjali, Sumati, everyone around her, to Sukanya as well. This made Sukanya feel very, very happy, and she went out with a bliss in her heart. And the women's quarters has a serene atmosphere around itself because it was established by Mata. It's not the architecture that makes them feel happy. It's about the love and bliss around those women's quarters that will help them to transform their lives by heart, is what they have realized. And Sujata could also feel that, okay, there is something in this women's quarters beyond this architectural buildings that is driving us to be happy, and driving us towards the rightful dharma, not the set of rules, or not the pretending dharma. It's a rightful dharma that we are being directed to, is what she was able to recognize, and started feeling that lively presence in the women's quarters. So and after she left, there was a lot of happiness and excitement one day that was going on. And then she was asking another lady, what is happening, why is all this excitement happening? So they said that Rukmini Mata is coming, and whenever she comes, she narrates some stories, is what she revealed. And Sujata was also like, okay, I have to listen to the stories. She was sitting at the back of those crowd and waiting for Mata. And Mata, while she was walking in that lane, there is something, a lot of love and happiness that was uh, felt by Sujata and everyone's heart as well. They were in they were under like a spell, a true real spell bound love around them, that was walking in around them. So she just went there and sat on a rock near Parvati Mata's temple. So Parvati Mata's temple was built there to offer puja and offerings for Devi. And that is where she actually sits and narrates, because Sita Mata or Rukmini Mata, she is more connected to Parvati, and she is like almost a mother, a father, a soul thing for Rukmini Mata, even from her past life too. So she was sitting there and narrating some stories to all of them. And one of the lady asked them, even Anjali asked Mata to share about her childhood and how did she meet with Sri Krishna. Guys, I would want you to listen this very carefully, because uh, it carried me into such a bliss, how she actually made a connection with her past life, and how did Sri Krishna help her in awakening her past life memories, and also to realize her omnipresence, is what the interesting fact in the story is about. As a child, she was sitting in that palace, and there's a forest that is actually very near to her palace. So I already told you guys that this Rukmini Mata is living in Vidarbha region, right? So Vidarbha, Kundinapuri is a capital of Vidarbha. So in that particular region, in her palace, um, so she was staying there, and then she is actually waiting for the forest, because it feels like the forest is calling her. So have you I think you are most of you who is listening, you guys were able to see the movie called Frozen, right? In that movie, the forest would be calling Elsa. like she was sleeping in the mid in the night, and it feels like something is calling her, and then even at the mid of night she was not able to sleep properly, and then she was waking up, she was singing her heart, she was singing out with her heart, and then following the direction where she was being called, right? I was able to recollect that movie by reading this. And even Rukmini Mata was like sitting calm, and then dozing there here and there, and then it feels like forest is calling her. She actually wants a perfect situation where she can sneak in, because no one would allow an 8-year-old, she was an 8 year 7 or 8 year probably by that time, and then no one would allow 7 or 8 year old girl to escape into the forest, right? So she was actually waiting for a chance to go to the forest. um, uh, in that perfect situation, the a god who was guarding that palace, there's a huge wall built as a perimeter, and it's obviously an entry point for the forest and the palace as well. So if she opens or enters to that door, she will actually enter to the forest. So there's a situation that has arisen that there's no god at the palace, and then she actually sneaked into that forest, and then there was she feels like she was talking to everything around her. She was talking to plants, she was talking to trees, and then when she was started talking to animals, they were running away. No one was responding. She somehow was trying to relate that I had a strong connection to this forest, to this nature, but no one is responding to me. And by this time, she's just a 7 or 8 year old girl. But the people who have read Sita Inam, which is the untold story of Sita, can actually relate to this incident, because at that point of time, Sita Mata would actually try to communicate with the forest, and then every part of the nature would respond to her call. But now Rukmini Mata is not able to get a response from them. But how is she communicating? It's from inside. She is not yet awakened, but it's from inside that she has an urge to talk with nature. But no one is responding. No plants is responding. No animals is responding. No one, nothing in nature is responding to her. And why is she forgetting? She isn't surprised that what these people or this nature is supposed to respond to me. Why am I not getting a response? Is what she was trying to recollect. And then by that time, at the end, she reached a river. At the verge of a river, and then she was trying to communicate with that river, and yet she's not getting a response from that river. um, she is confused. She was confused as why she was getting a void response. And that's when she heard, she was like going into the river. She was offering her offerings. She was praying to that river mata, but yet the river is not responding back. From on that At that time, she heard her name being called by one particular person, and she turned her head aside, and she was like she heard a person calling her name. And then when she looked at her person at that person, he is a boy who is like around probably 15 to 16 years of age. And he had her hair, he had his hair flow through her head of his head, and then till the shoulders. And then he was like of light blue complexion, and then he had such a calming presence, and such a vibration of love is emitting from him. By this time, I know what you are thinking. He's none other than the Sri Krishna. He didn't tell out his name to her, but she herself called him Krishna. Krishna. and she was like in awe with her, with his presence. She was attracted to to his presence. They both were like communicating with each other. And then the first question, as soon as she met with Sri Krishna, was regarding the response from nature. Krishna, why is this river not responding to me? Why is this trees not responding to me? Why are these animals running away from me? Why are they not responding from me? Who am I? Why am I feeling the urge to communicate with nature? Is what she questioned Krishna. Krishna did tell her that, okay, relax, Rukmini, you will at certain point of time have these connections restored back. But for now, you have to start. For the first thing is you have to start communicating with yourself. You have to realize who you are. And as she was still asking, why did I lose this response? So who am I? So she was telling that the nature has long forgotten to respond to the humans. In earlier ages like Treta Yuga or the Satya Yuga or the higher ages, everyone lived in harmony, Rukmini. uh, every animal and every part of the nature, they used to live as one. But now people were like destroying nature, killing animals for their own satisfaction. And then nature started to move away or retreat from humans, and they have forgotten how to communicate with the people, with humans. um, and that is the thing that Krishna revealed. We the humans have grown apart from devtas as well. In earlier ages like Treta Yuga and Satya Yuga, we have seen lot of stories like when we do some puja, devtas would directly come and sit there and then take the pujas directly with the physical body. But now it's not that case. It's the virtual offering that we have to have. And even that offering doesn't have a clear state of mind. If we are still giving those prayers or offerings with a virtual, with an unclear state of mind, where we couldn't feel their presence during our pujas, right? That is the separation we ourselves have built from this nature. So it's not that they don't come and sit directly. They come and they come virtually, but still we can't feel their presence because of our own separation that we have built from the nature and within this nature. So, and we have to realize about the clear state of mind that we are or the state of mind that we are maintaining in our life. So we actually think them to be far away from us, but actually they are not far away from us, is what Sri Krishna did mention. They are not far away from us. They are not like aliens, or they are not, celestial worlds are not like a way this level of atmosphere. It's not like that. It's about the state of mind that we are developing, and the sub distance, the distance of our mind towards them is what we have built, that had made us made us to grow more distance from them, is what he was mentioning. And this seems very clear, right? If someone can feel, if I can feel Sai Baba's or anyone else's virtual presence with a clear state of mind, every devata or every part of nature, we can communicate with a clear state of mind, is what we can realize. So that's what Sri Krishna was letting Rukmini Mata know. And Rukmini Mata have been thinking about it a lot. And she actually did go back to the palace. And again, she used to frequently meet Sri Krishna at the forest. And Rukmini was started questioning her father. Who am I? Are you my real father? I mean, her past life. Once she started meeting Sri Krishna, uh, she started having some deep questions arise from her own self, and she can feel that her father is not real father. There is another father from her past life. I mean, she started having all these questions, and she started asking Rukmi, I mean, Rukma is her father, I guess. Yeah, asking her father, are you my real father? Is there any sages here? Let's go to the sages, because Sita Mata used to respect sages a lot, and she loves going towards sages, and having a spiritual discussions. But her father didn't make it very clear that sages are long lost, Rukmini, so we can't really rely on sages right now. So and that can't be there, and who is there to take care of the society? Because in Treta Yuga, until Treta Yuga as well, sages are the one who were given the highest stage in deciding the security or the living lifestyle of the society. But now it's the system, or it's the rajas or kshatriyas that have been ruling societies, and then it's the people that have the control of others' life. But that was even going haywire, because they have not been following a certain set of rules. So they have to follow certain set of rules, and Sri Krishna and Rukmini Mata in this Dwapar Yuga taught the people how to establish a judicial system, and make the people or kshatriyas or the rulers tie towards those judicial systems, and execute the laws using those judicial system. uh, and Sita Mata, even in Treta Yuga, and Sri Rama and Sita Mata, they did make sure that it was the sages, because the sages, even though they used to have the power, because of the immediate trigger of emotion, anger or some emotions from them, they used to curse the people and their families as well. The families who have not done any wrong, they used to suffer because of the wrong that have been done by one single person. So they actually tried to change that custom and situation. And now in Dwapar Yuga, Sri Krishna and Rukmini Mata have enlightened or taught people how to stick towards the judicial system, well established judicial system. So that's going on there, and her question towards the sages, and then the things have been asked by Rukmini Mata, surprised this her father. And she actually is started recollecting incidents from past lives, sages, husband like Sri Rama, Sri Rama, right? And Lakshmana, all these things she started recollecting. And when she used to sneak into the forest again to meet Sri Krishna, she started asking questions. So you are Sri, she started have a feeling that he is Sri Rama, and Rama, let us go build a peaceful house in the forest. Your brother Lakshmana will take care of it, and we'll go to the exile. And she started recollecting about her father Janaka Maharaja and all this stuff. So Sri Krishna did say that, okay, calm down, Rukmini, calm down. This is not that life. We have taken our new lives, and uh, we we uh, we are not living in a forest at this life. We are living among the people and educating them, and our life purpose for this life is much more than that. It's not about the monsters that are living in the forest that we are dealing with. It's the monsters that are living among the people and inside the hearts of the people that we are dealing with. We have to set a stage for them. We have to educate them. We have to remove them from all their illusions and hallucinations that were being captured by the monster ideas. So that is what he was trying to communicate with Rukmini. And at uh, at some point of time, she actually sat by the river, and then she was like, she actually start and at that point of time, the spirit, Krishna helped her in having a conversation with the spirit of the river. Until that point of time, she was not able to establish that connection towards the nature, but Sri Krishna actually helped her in establishing that connection, and the spirit from the river has rose up, and then she actually said sorry to Mata, because she was not she no one would communicate with us, Mata, these days. So actually, I was not able to recognize your higher self. I am a mother, I am a daughter of Godavari and have been split and flowing this way. So I'm so sorry for not recognizing you, is what the spirit said. And then they exchanged warm greetings with each other, and she sat by the river, and then she started meditating more and more and more and more. So at one point of time, she started meditating, and then as soon as she went into meditation, she started recollecting all the incidents from the past life as a Sita Mata. And she started recollecting about I mean Sri Rama, Lakshmana, Janaka Maharaja, the Dasarada, everything in and around that life. And also beyond that state, he she was able to realize who she was. And as soon as she opened her eyes, she saw a physical presence of Sri Krishna, and she was able to still go into meditation and see who Sri Krishna was beyond his physical existence. She could able to see that omnipresence of Sri Krishna, and she was able to make a connection with that omnipresence of her own self, because she is not even like Rukmini Mata is not a physical body, or just a Sita Mata, or just a physical thing. She is an omnipresence of love, right? She was able to establish a connection to that omnipresence, and she was like going lost in that omnipresence. She was not able to come back. It is then that Sri Krishna called her back, and then made her realize her importance of this physical existence. And this we can relate in untold story of Sita as well. When Sita Mata sat in the forest, in the middle of the forest, and she was being lost, she was called by Janaka Maharaja in physical, but yet it was Sri Rama who came at that point of time and called her back from that omnipresence to that physical reality. And in the same way, in this life, Sri Krishna helped her coming her back from that omnipresence connection to the present life. So she was able to realize her own importance and the purpose of her life at this physical reincarnation. And she was able to have a connection with that eternity form. So you all know what eternity is, right? I mean, ultimate presence of the celestial, of this incarnation, ultimate presence of this God. So and after that, when Krishna left, and then when she was able to regain her consciousness, there was her brother standing in front of her. Like, he is Rukmi is standing in front of her, and he was very furious at her, like, why is she coming here and sitting and meditating? She is an 8-year-old, 9-year-old girl. Why is she do what is she doing here? And she dragged her to the palace, and she was locked inside the palace. And when she was locked inside the palace, and a lot of sages from her past life, she was able to connect with them. And also, and after that, she was not allowed to go and wander freely outside the society. But from then, wander in the forest. But from then, she stopped going into the forest, and she started going and sneaking into the society. And she started seeing the people around her. And she started educating people. She started encouraging arts, music, dance, and all the stuff, because she gave more and more importance to art, dance, and festivals. The reason is, uh, even in her own palace, in her own kingdom, her brothers and all the people, they were taking an extensive care in expanding their military and gaining more power and power. Their concentration was more on power, but they do not actually find the real importance or importance of life. It is the love that we have to vibrate. How do we love? It's not a physical thing. So when we actually give a weightage or connect to the certain art, it is the ultimate thing. The even singing, right? We can find a bliss in singing, we can find a bliss in dancing, we can be mesmerized and captivated by that performance. So it is the thing or importance that Rukmini Mata have carried a weight on it, so that it can bring happiness in one's life who are being connected to it. And it can also be a purpose, it can also be a mediator to carry your uh, to take your to have a liberation from your life, right? To reach that ultimate liberation. It can be a tool. That is why she gave an important weightage to dance, arts, music, all these extracurricular activities. She encouraged people in Vidarbha to undergo that things, and that is the reason why when Rukmini Mata did marry Sri Krishna, and they were moving out to Dwaraka, lot of people regarding those dance, arts, cultures, everyone they moved along with Rukmini Mata, because without Rukmini Mata, no one would actually encourage them or support them, and they do not actually have that. Mm, encouragement around them, and their livelihood is actually dependent on that, right? So wherever Mata went, they followed, and that is how Sujata's ancestors, I mean, Sujata's mother, who was actually in connection with Rukmini Mata in Vidarbha, their family also moved to Dwaraka, and that's how Sujata ended up being taken care by Rukmini Mata itself. So after that, Shishupala, Rukmi, learning about the sneaking of Rukmini Mata, he actually tried to arrange marriage with Shishupala. So Shishupala, he is none other than a third reincarnation of Jaya Vijaya, who is Hiranyaksha, and then Ravana, and then Shishupala. So this is the third generation, third life for him, where his intensities, atrocities are being reduced. It's not that intense as of Ravana or Hiranyaksha, but yet he had a bad mouth at this life. He used to scold everyone. He used to use bad words with everyone. He used to mock at everyone. He used to have a less importance of others' life. That's a bad mouth. So we can see those things in present society as well, but yet we have to take care of that mouth by ourselves, because that is the main thing. If we hurt others feelings by just a single word, then their feelings will that if that comes back to us, it will have a 100, I mean 10 times of greater things, right? Greater, with great intensity. So we have to watch those words while speaking. And Sishupala, so uh, so she said her marriage was being established or set up with Sishupala, and then Sri Krishna did meet Rukmini in secret and said that okay, Sri Krishna, I'll actually help you in getting out of this marriage, and we can marry. So Rukmini said that I can handle it myself. She and Krishna said that I actually in past life he actually took my wife away, captured my wife, and now it is me who has to complete that karmic pattern by taking uh, the established taking her fiance away. So that is the karmic pattern that has to be resolved, and he I will deal with him later in this life. So that's what they said. Uh, and of course, they have been they have been eloped. She was taken in by Sri Krishna, and they were like traveling to Dwaraka. They have established a well established society there. They have established their kingdom there, a huge kingdom where they have been training lots and lots and lots of people there. And guys, we have to realize who Rukmini Mata is. She is an incarnation of beauty itself, the one who had come to show people how to bring joy into their everyday lives. Until then, it was like routine things. Okay, we have to wake up in the morning, we have to cook for our family, we have to eat, and then it's like routine things that were going on. Then this beauty came into this society and introduced lots and lots of tools that can enhance our life and where we can find more and more enjoyment in, by introducing more of music, arts, and all the stuff. So it is the beauty that is coming in to live among us, and driving people to actually find where the bliss in the society is. Everyone might not meditate, but everyone can listen to the music. Everyone can at least listen or sing, or at least sit in a calming presence and listen to the beautiful music, beautiful songs, beautiful art. They can admire, at least sit and admire the art, looking at them. That is a kind of thing that human brains have towards this. Um, uh, Towards this beauty. So she actually started educating us to use that human brain's functionality, and introduce these arts and all this stuff. So it is time for us to actually concentrate on at least one art, one thing that we can use to make ourselves happy, and people around us be happy. At least we don't have to sing, we don't have to we don't have to dance, but yet we can just sit and admire those singing and dancing and art. Anything, anything that we have, any tool that can be admired, that makes us happy. Happiness or love is the one that we need to be in an ultimate stage. The ultimate goal of humans heart or soul should be. So this will be the driving purpose, driving thing, or a tool that it can be taken our heart to. So um so Sujata, now she started realizing Mata's presence, Mata's work, and also who the reality of Mata. So she entered the palace as a doubting mind, but now slowly she started understanding who Mata is, and she got confirmation on all the stories that has been narrated by her mother, because she listened to them as just a stories, but now she understood the reality of Mata by actually being under her personal care and listening to all the stories that people have been undergoing, people have been revealing about her and also her past. And with this childhood connection from Rukmini Mata and Sri Krishna, she actually, we can understand the love and connection between the nature, and also the support and importance that each other, Sri Krishna and Rukmini Mata, gave upon each other, and the responsibility that they have shared in enlightening and awakening each other. And also, Sri Krishna did actually help Rukmini Mata in realizing her own purpose, and from there she never stopped. She just started executing her purpose and doing her responsibilities. So that's a beautiful love between both of them, and because of their love, we are also receiving that love, and because of the vibration that they have shared in each and every life, we the humans are able to realize the real importance of love. And uh, and obviously, it's not only the receiving mode that we should be, the sharing is the thing that we can do, at least with our own families, by vibrating with such a love. And Yeah, with that, I could only complete like two chapters in this session. I think it's a high time. Now I would stop here with that love feeling that is vibrating from Sri Krishna, Rukmini Mata, and also I suppose that we are receiving that vibration of love from them. So I would stop here and we will go on to the next chapters later in the next session. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gowthami. That's wonderful.
Thank
Yeah, you concluded like Valentine's Day with love, share the love and self love, about embrace the arts, any art.
you. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, Sirisha.
Thank you for your energy and time. So, happy Valentine's Day, friends.
Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Thank you.